reasons why I keep coming back to Vietnam. The food. Wow, that meat is so fatty. The people.
15.
50.
15.
Yeah.
50.
50.
Okay. 50.
The American dollar goes a long way. And it is $75,000. It's $35,000. I'm ready to play. This is my third visit back to Vietnam in 1 year. I have been here in Saigon 2 times. I have been in Hanoi 1 time, and I have also been south by the Mekong Delta 1 time, all in the last year. A few simple reasons why I keep coming back to Vietnam is because of the food. The food is simply amazing, maybe one of the best cuisines in the world. Can I try this? Yeah, just one, please. How do you say this? Banh mi, shashu. Shashu? Shashu. This? Oh, okay. Just one, please. Thank you. Just stop for a banh mi. It wouldn't be a perfect day in Vietnam without having a banh mi every day, pretty much, right? This is a different one. I've never had this banh mi before. The point of me eating banh mi quite often is to try different ones. Now, this one here is called banh mi cha shui or something like that. I asked him how to pronounce it. He tried to tell me. It's very hard to pronounce, but basically what we have here is inside this banh mi we have char siu, pate, vegetable, butter sauce, spicy sauce, and char siu sauce. It looks absolutely delicious. Smells really good. Smells spicy. He put a lot of spicy sauce on there. We have pickled daikon. There is a cucumber on there. Loads of cilantro. And this meat just looks absolutely phenomenal. Let's try out the meat. Oh wow. A little bit fatty, chewy, but also like slimy, and just kind of like melts in your mouth as you're chewing it. Very spicy though. That sauce is super spicy. It does say spicy sauce, so I should have known that, but good thing I like spice. But then as you can see, we have a very, very crispy, dark banh mi bread here. Perfect. It's gonna actually kill the roof of my mouth and my lips because of how flaky and crispy it is, but that's okay. And if you can't tell, it's a very noisy area right down the intersection here, right next to the park. Guy behind me is fixing a chair, traffic moving around, construction. That's how it is here in Vietnam. But it's always better to eat on the street with the locals and to get the local scene. So here we go. A 25,000 Vietnamese dong banh mi, $1.03 for this thing. Let's give it a go. Wow, that meat is so fatty. Super, super fatty. It is pork meat, so generally pork can be very fatty, but I didn't expect it to be that fatty because he showed it to me right there on the stand. It didn't look that fatty, but it's really, really fatty. I just hope inside of there are more pieces that aren't so fatty. All right, here we go, another one. There's the pate meat. Loads of cilantro vegetable there. Wow. And the cucumber. Now the interesting thing about this banh mi, all the spicy sauce is on the outside and not in the inside. So it's like I can have a spicy bite and then I can have a good bite. Spicy, good. All right, this one's gonna be loaded right here with some meat, some cilantro, cucumber. Let's go for it. Man, that was a real loaded bite right there. Pate meat, that pork meat, not so fatty that time. All the veggies, the butter sauce, the spicy sauce, the crispiness of the bread. Perfect. Now the one thing about banh mi is you always have to, get past the first or second bite to get to the center, to where all the fillings are. That's where it's got the best taste and it's the most rich in flavor. Now, interestingly enough, I had my first banh mi outside of Vietnam. I had it in Prague, the Czech Republic, I believe, when I was living there. I've had banh mi now in Vietnam in like 3 different cities, and it's always good every time. I'm never disappointed. Every banh mi is super, super tasty, and this one is probably the spiciest one I've had yet with the spicy sauce. There's no peppers in here, that's the difference. But super, super tasty. And that's one reason why I really love Vietnam, the food. So the banh mi place here is called Banh Mi 365. It is attached to Gutta Cafe. This banh mi place here specializes in basically 3 banh mi's. You have the pate banh mi, you have the char siu banh mi, the one that I just had, and then you also have a ham pork one. So they really keep it minimal with 3 options, but then you can get a special option, which is just like a little bit added into it to make it bigger. You can't go wrong with that banh mi right there. 25,000 dong is a very good price, but excellent choice to have my first meal today. And I know, it's already 3 o'clock, I'm having a meal now, very late. Not only is the food very good here, but so are the drinks. Everything from, you know, coffee, tea, to beer, and a night out drinking. Well, I just stopped into a very popular chain. It's like a coffee tea chain. It's called Casio. And it was actually, I think, the first time I've ever ordered a drink from there, but I decided to get a little refreshing tea lemonade. It's called like Pinky Lady. Sounds really feminine, but it's quite interesting. It tastes pretty good. I think he said there's something like maybe guava in it, but it's a little bit bitter because I asked for less sugar, but that's okay. It is refreshing because it's a little humid out here today. But that's one thing I love about Vietnam, is that there's just so many places to go for a coffee, to get a tea, maybe to go for a beer, or just to go out for a night drinking with your friends. You gotta love that. 39 Vietnamese dong, so what? Less than $2. 2 would be the people. The people are super friendly, even though they don't speak a lot of English. They're still smiley, and they will go out of their way to help you when help is needed. Okay. Spicy?
All of it.
This lady, I think, is going to show us her home. Storage space.
My home. You review. 10 family.
Wow.
10
families. Wow.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, all the way up.
There's 10 families in this building, and they're pretty small units, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Bye-bye. So I'm staying on the walking street here in Ho Chi Minh City, right? And I went to a restaurant to eat. I checked out this restaurant before, and it had decent reviews, and I thought, okay, this would be a good place to eat because it's not on the walking street, but it's close by, and it just seems like a pretty good establishment to eat at, right? Ordered my food. The lady told me it would take about 12 minutes for what I wanted. There was only 2 tables taken before me. I sat down, got my tea. About 20 minutes later, my food never came. The lady came around and gave me more tea. I think what happened is they simply forgot to, you know, put in my order very soon, right? Because a couple people came in after me, got their food within minutes. The person I am, I just waited and drank more tea and chilled out because it was cool and quiet and whatnot. But the lady that was serving, who was like giving me the tea and just going around cleaning up the tables, she was so friendly because my food eventually came, right? And she saw that maybe I was eating it in a little weird way, so she came over without speaking any English and showed me exactly how to eat it. She said, like, mix this, mix it around. She went and got me some onions or shallots or whatever they are. She put them in there. She put some spice in there. And I didn't even ask her to do this. And I didn't ask her to refill my tea or anything. She was just helping me out because she wanted me to know exactly how to eat the food the right way it should. And so that's what I mean. Some of the people here are super friendly. And you know what? I just want to tell you one more bonus instance. When I was here 1 year ago in Vietnam, I went to the south by the Mekong Delta with my girlfriend and part of her family that actually are from that region. And when I was down there, I got to eat some local food with them at their house in the countryside, right? And I had to sit at the table with all the men. None of them spoke English at all, and most of them were 40s and older. My girlfriend and her grandmother and everybody else sat at the other side with the women in the women's area in the house, right? But the thing about it was that they made sure that I was fed well. I don't normally eat a lot of seafood, but they were like, here, eat this, try this. And they were just basically giving me lots of food and drinks and like making sure that I was, you know, satisfied because I was actually getting full, and they were saying like, are you good? Do you want more? Yes, more drink, no. And that's what I mean. Like, if you have a situation where you eat with some local people, especially maybe some older people, they will make sure that you are enjoying the food, that you are trying different things, that you are getting the authentic experience here in Vietnam, especially with the Vietnamese cuisine. So there are plenty of moments I could probably tell you about of how the people here in Vietnam are super friendly and super kind and very hospitable. And 3, of course, the American dollar from where I'm from goes a long way here in Vietnam. So I can get a lot more out of living here than I can maybe in the US with a certain salary. The final point I want to talk about today is the price of traveling here. So obviously to get to Vietnam it's going to cost a lot because of flights, depending on where you're coming from. But for the average person, maybe from a Western country or even like Australia and places that just are very modern with higher prices, the cost of being in Vietnam and traveling in Vietnam is quite affordable. Now for me, I always have found that Airbnbs or accommodation prices here in Vietnam are generally very affordable compared to other maybe Southeast Asian countries. So I'm here at my Airbnb now. I'm staying at a place called Kay's Home right off of the walking street. And for this Airbnb, it was like $380 for a whole month. So that's super affordable. I mean, that covers electricity and everything. I mean, it is a small space, but still, $380 versus what I would pay like in the United States or somewhere else is another reason why I'm always coming back here to Vietnam, because I can live very affordable and spend that extra money elsewhere, like food and excursions and other activities. So not only is accommodation very affordable, but so is the food, obviously, right? Whether you go to a restaurant or you're eating on the street, generally you can buy meals for very cheap. Now, if you want to have some fine dining, of course you can pay $10, $15 a plate in certain places, especially here in Ho Chi Minh City. But on average, I mean, you're spending maybe like under $3 for a dish on the street, like whether it's at some food cart, whether it's at like a open air type restaurant on the edge of the road, whatever it is, your food is generally very cheap, and that's another reason why I really love coming to Vietnam, as well as the food just being so good, as I said earlier. So with accommodation, with the price of food, even some shopping, like, you know, buying clothes and different things, going to the markets, you can get everything much cheaper than you can in the US at like an H&M or wherever it be. So overall, the price of being in Vietnam and traveling in Vietnam is just super, and it's one of the reasons why I'll always come back. There's just so much to love about Vietnam, so much that will keep you coming back for more and more every time. No matter where you visit in the country, you'll always want more of Vietnam. And sure, there are other things that people don't like, that I don't like, that will annoy you, such as maybe traffic. You know, a huge portion of the population smokes. Sometimes they throw garbage everywhere, and just the chaos and all that. But overall, Vietnam is a really good place. I love it here, and I'm just gonna keep coming back over time. And with that said, I'm gonna go get some more Vietnamese food, as it's almost dinner time here in Ho Chi Minh City. So I will see you guys soon in the next video. Peace.